There's something you do every day. You probably don't even notice it anymore. You finish a thought, something real, something that actually matters to you, and before you even sit with it, you reach for your phone. Not because you're bored, not because you're waiting for something important, but because some quiet part of you needs to know, is anyone watching? That's not a habit, that's a hunger. And the terrifying thing is, most people will live their entire lives feeding it without ever asking where it came from. Think about the last time you posted something online. Maybe a photo, a thought, an achievement. And then you put the phone down. But you picked it back up, 30 seconds later. Checking. Not consciously, almost automatically, like breathing. And when the response came, the like, the comment, the view, there was this brief warmth, this tiny moment of existing. But it faded fast, faster than last time, so you posted again. This isn't weakness, this isn't vanity. This is one of the most deeply human experiences alive right now, and almost no one talks about it honestly. Because we've built an entire culture around visibility, around being seen, around performing your life for an audience that is also performing theirs. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, you stopped being sure of who you were when no one was watching. That's the part that stays quiet. That's the part nobody posts about. Psychologists have a term, social validation feedback loop. But strip away the clinical language and what you're left with is something older, something almost primal. Human beings are wired for belonging. For thousands of years, being seen by your tribe meant you were safe. Invisible meant danger. Ignored meant exile. Your nervous system still carries that code. So when someone acknowledges you, even a stranger on the internet, even a notification from an app designed to manipulate your dopamine, your brain registers it as survival. That's why it feels so good, and that's why it's never enough. Because the algorithm isn't your tribe. The followers don't actually know you, and the version of yourself you perform online, no matter how authentic you try to make it, is still a performance. Here's the psychological truth that cuts deepest. The more you seek external validation, the less you trust your own internal sense of worth. Every time you outsource the question, am I okay? Am I enough? Do I matter? To other people's reactions, you quietly teach yourself that you cannot answer that question alone. And over time, being alone with yourself starts to feel like a kind of punishment. Silence becomes unbearable. Stillness feels like disappearing. So you scroll, you post, you perform, and the cycle deepens. Imagine a man sitting in a restaurant, alone, by choice. His food arrives. It looks good. He's hungry. But before he eats, he takes a photo, adjusts the angle, adjusts again, posts it. Then he eats. But now he's half there, half inside his own experience, half watching how the world receives it. He never fully tasted the meal. He never fully sat inside that moment. He was present and simultaneously performing being present. That's what this addiction quietly steals from you, not your time. Not your productivity, your presence. The irreplaceable feeling of being in your own life, not curating it, not broadcasting it, just living it. And the cruel irony? The people who seem most magnetic, most compelling, most real, they're not the ones performing the hardest. They're the ones who seem like they forgot the camera was there. There's something in a person who doesn't need your reaction to know who they are. Something that makes you lean in instead of scroll past. Depth is not loud. Depth is the person in the room who seems entirely comfortable with silence. And that kind of person, they weren't born that way. They learned to come home to themselves. The question isn't whether you crave attention. You do. We all do. That part is human. The question is, what happens inside you when no one is watching? Is there peace there, or is there panic? Because here's the thing about building yourself on other people's eyes. When the attention fades, and it always fades, you have to face whatever you were before the audience arrived. That moment is either your collapse or your foundation. The work, the real work, isn't building a bigger platform. It's building a self that doesn't disappear when the screen goes dark. You already know who you are. You've just spent so long performing it that you forgot how it feels to simply be it. And maybe that's exactly where you need to start.